Hey guys, it's me Simone, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own wax-based paste similar to Prima's alchemy wax paste. So let's get started. So I actually saw the videos and previews of the Prima wax paste back in like end of November, early December, and I thought it'd be an interesting product. After watching the videos, I saw kind of how to make it. I found a way that was pretty similar to what it does, which is a wax paste. Mine's is oil based. It is actually, well, it has wax in it. But what I did is I found that instead of focusing trying to make it a wax paste, I made wax paint, which has the same properties. It's waterproof, but it does take a while to dry, like theirs does. And I did use a lot of products that I think they use in theirs. Now, mine doesn't really have a scent to it. It doesn't smell like really good or anything like theirs does. But it still works. I'm going to record on some different parts at different times. So I'm sorry if the lighting changes throughout the video. So this part, I'm just going to show you what everything you're going to need and kind of briefly talk about it. And then at the second part of this video, I'm going to show you how I make it. In the third part of the video, I'm going to go over pricing and show you some demos of the product, how it works, pros and cons, price point of buying all the supplies, and how much it costs per unit, and then how to save some money on it too, mentioning some things, which I'll mention in this video too. So let's get over to it. The first thing, the main thing is you're going to need beeswax. Now I got beeswax pellets. I like the pellets because it's easier to put these in and kind of measure them out in pellets, but you don't need to have to have this. I got the white ones. You don't need to or have to have the white ones. You can get any color. I recommend getting less than this, guys. You don't need this much, actually. I don't know why I got this much. But you really can get less than this. 100% less than this. But this is a pound. Wait, yeah. Or whatever. I think it's supposed to be a pound. It's 16 ounces or 454 grams. So it's a pound. So I have that one. Big part of it. The next thing you're going to need is oil. You can use any kind of oil, but as I said, we're making a oil paint that has wax in it. So whatever oil is in oil paint is what you can use. You can use linseed oil. I use walnut oil, or if you choose. I got this off of a natural site that makes beauty supplies, like products and paint and things like that. Actually pretty cheap for 15 ounces. I just got regular walnut oil. You can get the ones from like Dick Blick or something, but this was actually significantly cheaper, so I got those, and I got more anyways. So I got 15 ounces here. But I didn't get linseed oil because I did not want to mess with the combustion issue that happens with linseed, so I did not want to choose that. Next thing you're going to need is you're going to need your containers. I have two containers here, two different sizes. Now, both these sizes are not the same size as the Prima colors, sadly. The size that Prima color, I keep saying Prima color. Prima has, I could not find, it was sold out. These are both from eBay. This is from a U.S. seller, and this one's from Japan or China, I don't remember. Okay, it's like has some oil in it. Okay, this is 30 milliliters, and this is 2 ounces. Yeah, so I'll say how that. And these do come handy. And you get, obviously already you got more product, use more. So I have these two containers, just aluminum. This one a lot reminds me more of the containers I use to make Prima's product. This one just kind of slides off. Okay. So these two. And the most important thing you're going to need is your mica. This is what's going to color your oil to make it into whatever color. This is what gets good right here. So you can choose whatever mica you want to. I have several packs here. These are 10 grams You will use about 10 grams in your recipe. In my recipe, you can go less or more. I've done less and it turned out fine. You just don't get as much. I've done 10 grams, totally great. But these are all from eBay. There's a seller. Hold on, find them. Put them somewhere around here. There you go. And then I have another pack here. This is 30 grams, and this is from cosmeticpigment.com. This mica is you can use it for cosmetic purposes if you choose to, or anything else. So it's pretty safe to be touching with your fingers and stuff. Just make sure you have that. This was more expensive than this because it was a US. But I actually found you can get more off eBay for less than this. But I'll tell you later. So I use mica. This is really good, very pigmented mica. I have not used this one yet. I just got this a couple days. Okay, I mean I say just I got this. I recently purchased this. I haven't used it yet, so I'll see how well it is. I just got some more colors for refills, and then I saw a color I really wanted to try. I do like this though because it's labeled, so I can tell you, hey guys, this is the color I'm using. But with these, I literally have to kind of guess. I remember what color I purchased. Because I don't remember, because they don't label them or nothing. They're double bags. Of course, when you use these, you kind of want to make sure you put on like a mask or something, because you don't want to breathe in mica. So you have that option. You can use eyeshadow if you choose to. The reason I did not use eyeshadow is because you don't have that much option. You're limited to what you get. You could go to Dollar Tree and get their eyeshadow because you'll get a good, decent amount, which should make around 20 milliliter, 3 milliliter container. How much I have, you can do that. But as I said, you don't get that much color. You're limited to what they have, and you're limited to what they put in there too. But you can use that. Will work perfectly fine. But as I said before, I'd rather go with mica because I have more choice of what I'm getting. I can tell, I know what's in it. And I can get more. But you can't do that show out. It will be actually, if you have a Dollar Tree that has makeup, it will be a little cheaper actually. The next thing you're going to need is something to stir it with. A pot, like a saucepan, but you do not mind getting pigment in. We're going to do like a double boiler method to melt the beeswax. And sometimes, depending on how fast you stir, it can spill into pan. So I recommend getting a pan from like Goodwill or something. I got one from Walmart for like $2 or $3. That you do not mind if it gets makeup in it, like mica in it, or oil or whatever in it, wax, because you're not gonna be eating out this. And then you're gonna need a stove. I have a portable hot plate that I can use if I use for other things in my art studio, but you do not need that in any means. You can literally just go to your kitchen and get a stove. But for the purpose of this video and other products I use, it was more convenient for me to buy that. So that is everything. As I said, I'm not going to go over pricing until the end of this video, but I'm going to mention this to give you an incentive of how much it's going to cost you. It can get kind of pricey, so I'm going to say that. But I personally chose to do this because I wanted to see if I could do it. In no means am I saying that you should never buy a product and always make it yourself. That's not what I'm saying. I just think it's fun to make my own products, and I find it brings me joy to create things and experiment and make products. But as I would say, you should know when you should just buy a product and when you should make it. For me, there is a lot of, I'm going to buy a product, I'm going to make it. And I just, figure out what I want to do. I'm not going to make, a glue stick. I don't know how to make a glue stick, but I will buy one. I'm not going to try to make certain things I know I can't make. So, I just put this out there as like a little, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Disclaimer. That I'm not trying to say don't go buy a product. I do recommend But you maybe if you want to save some money, make your own product, my sprays, something or whatever. And then if you want to, you can always upgrade after you learn some tricks and techniques to a more expensive product. I always recommend buying the cheap product first, learning how to do it, and then buying the more expensive product. So I am going to go now. In the next part of this video, you're going to see me making the product and walking us through it. So stay tuned. Hey guys, it's me Simone, and so we're going to start making the wax paste. Right now I have a pot of boiling water or simmering water going on, and I'm going to put this metal container in there after I choose my mica. I'm going to go with this golden iridescent color. So right now I'm going to open it up and put it in there. This is 10 grams of pigment, so you can do whatever you want, but 10 grams fills up a 30 milliliter container. This process gets pretty messy, so I do recommend wearing gloves and a mask so you don't breathe in the mica. I'm going to pour all this mica powder in here, and I'll show you if you don't pour all of it in what happens at the end of the video. So I'm going to get myself a little wooden stick and pour in the oil. Of course, I'm using walnut oil. After I pour this in, I'm going to mix it in completely. I cannot give you like an accurate measurement of how much oil I'm using because each mica powder uses up different amounts of oil. So because of this, I recommend using, just recommend the consistency to be very fluid, no lumps or bumps in it, just completely liquidy, fluid, like fluid acrylic or like acrylic paint, like craft acrylic paint. Very smooth. So once I get that consistency, I'm going to put the container into the water and let it heat up a little bit before I put in the wax. So you see I'm measuring it, mixing it up completely, making sure there's nothing on the side or nothing on the bottom. Once I have that done, I am going to keep and put it in the container. And you can see I made a little bit of mess doing this. So I'm going to put it in. I realized I had way too much water in there. You want to make sure you have enough water that covers the sides but not too much that it makes the container float. Because once you put in the wax, the container might try to sink because it gets heavier. And because of this, it might let in some water, which you don't want because you know water and oil do not mix. I'm actually going to end up bumping my container because my cord was falling, which was going to make my little portable heater and pot fall. So I had to mess with that, ended up bumping it and putting some water in. You can see. It's very easy. Just make sure you go get yourself a little dropper and take it out real quick before you mix it in. So I'm doing that right now. Once you heat the thing up, you can kind of see when it gets heated up, it might kind of like looks a little different. I mean, it still looks the same, but it looks a little bit different. You can kind of tell it's getting heated. Once that happens, I pour in my beeswax. I can't tell you how much you'll need for this. I use like maybe a tablespoon and a half, but each container is different. You can just experiment. If you put too much wax in, you can always put more oil in. If you put too little wax in, you can always put more in. But this method is the best for putting wax in because if you heat the wax up prior and then try to put it in the mixture of oil and pigment before it's in the pigment and oil mixture is not heated, the wax will get hard before you can actually fully mix it. That's what happened to me. So I found this method is the best for making sure both of the products mix together and nothing starts to get solid before they're incorporated. So it takes a while for this to actually happen because mine's on such low heat, but you can actually do multiple at a time if you want to, if your pot's big enough, as long as you're like right there. But I would recommend not leaving because you never want anything to go south, so keep your eye on it. After I mix that and completely make sure all the wax is melted and everything's smooth and consistent, scrape the bottom. I'm actually going to get 2 sticks and mix it to make sure everything is completely mixed in. There's nothing on the bottom, on the side, or anything. I'm going to take this out. Of course, it's hot, so be careful. I'm going to use some scissors, but you can use tongs, whatever you have to take it out. I'm going to use a little napkin since it's going to have some water on it. It's going to be a little warm. So after I take it out, it's going to need to set. If you neat to do this real quick. So I recommend that you stir it every once in a while before it completely cools, because this helps it not to, one, separate, or two, create a very hard shell on the top where the wax is trying to cool. So I recommend stirring it every once in a while until it's completely dry or it gets close to it. I'm going to show you some examples of what that looks like, but just make like a bumpy kind of consistency. You can add less wax, but I still recommend stirring it at the end until it's really close to being dry, just so nothing happens. And here's some examples of what that looks like. And guys, I hope you enjoy. Keep watching. Hey guys, it's me, Simone, and today we're going to do our last part of my video of making your own, similar to Prisma, but not the same, wax paste. Now I've done it, I've showed you guys, I've gone over how you can make it. I've gone over what you'll need to make it and everything. And now we're going to go over some of the samples I've made to show you guys. So, sorry if I get really close, get really loud. I also don't have to get close to the camera so I can know they're in frame. So this is my bronze color right here. It's really shiny. And it works really good on both colors, but I would say it shows up better on white. This is my iridescent green. I had to do one iridescent color. And so, see how green and pretty it is? You really can't see it on the white. But you can really see and this is just white just so one side and black paint on the other. The next paint I have is like this iridescent gold color. It still shows up pretty nicely on the white, it's just you see it better on the black. And I have this gunmetal black. You can see them both. I'm just showing you. Nothing comes on my hand, but these have been drying for long. That's purple, which shows on really well on both sides, but it's a little darker on this side and much lighter on this side. And then we have this like lime green color. It's really pretty. See that? Next thing I have here to show you things I've made with it. I'm going to kind of cover this. I have a little process video of this one. This is a mirror. It looks way different in person. It's actually not that white, but oh, sorry. But all this right here is my, what's it called? My waxes. The mirror's going to show you guys, but I'm trying to cover the mirror. And I have it here. And on the mirror itself are some colors. Sorry. And it's not transferring on my finger or nothing. Next one I have here is a tag that I made with my waxes. This is just on black paint. Another thing that's coming up is the glitter I put on here. Sorry if I'm so loud. So that's what's going in my hand. But I did melt this on here. A little heat gun. Works out fine. Next pieces I have are some wood. And one part of it's covered in black paint and the other one's not. And it heres perfectly. The next piece I have here is a resin piece. I've had some difficulties with this. It's been drying for a while. But some of the paint is actually coming off of this. Not much. I have another resin piece, and none of it's coming off of this piece. Actually, so I think it's just that piece. But this is another resin piece I've made, and it's not coming off. And both of these they haven't been gessoed. So this is just unprimed. Next piece I have here is a little piece of plaster. The only piece I have not tried was metal. I completely forgot to try metal. To see if it would dry and stay on there. I'm pretty sure it would because it dried on the plastic. I'm pretty sure it would dry in the middle. But I think I'll just, I don't know. I might update the comments. I might put in here if it does or not. I'm pretty sure it will, but no plan. So let's do my review and conclusion of this product that I've made. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in here. I'm no way trying to tell you guys do not purchase the Prismacolor wax paste, or these are better, the same. They're just wax paste that I've made. Of course, I'm only making labels. It's actually why it took me so long. I actually made this back in January, but I wanted to wait for the product to actually come up before I showed you guys this. And two, I wanted to make my labels. I made labels for these. They look kind of similar to the Prismacolors, but and they actually tell me the color, and that's why I have these little stickers on them. If you can't see that, there's stickers on there. Show me the color. But let's kind of go over everything with these. Of course, these are a waxy oil paint, basically. Because they are an oil paint, they have oil in them, it's going to take a little while for them to dry. Some of these pieces took 2 days to dry. Some pieces took about a week to dry. It just depends on how much you put on there and everything. And each of these paints is a little different. So some have more oil, some have less oil. So that can really affect them. Because each pigment responds differently to the oil and needs more or less. So my tag, since I did actually melt this wax on there, it's kind of thickly gooped on there. It should take a while to dry, but just to thinly put over. I think the only piece that took a while to dry was this one that I made. It's iridescent gold, because they kind of put a little bit on there. This one not as creamy, but they can be. You have to put more oil in them. I'm okay with their consistency. They're nice and creamy enough, but they're not like you can just accidentally go, oh, you know, get a lot out. You still have to kind of push on them. Well, visible. I said, but they do take a while. It just depends on what you put them on and how much you put on there. So I said, sometimes taking up to a week. Sometimes taking less than that. It just depends. The next thing is your container. The recipe, there's not really a recipe for this. I kind of mentioned that before, but the recipe I did for this is basically, the only measurement I have is the pigment. I use about 10 grams of pigment for each of these. Give or take. A little bit less, a little bit more. Actually, less. Most of these containers have 10 grams of pigment in them. Some have like 6 or so. Let me see if I can find the one that has less pigment in there. I think it's this green one. Yep. So if you make it with 10 grams, that's how much you're going to get. If you make it with anything less, you can see that. Let me see if I can show you another one. It's still too shimmery. Alright, can you see that, guys? Okay. This is 10 grams. This is like 6 grams of pigment. You see how much you don't get. This is basically full. This is like empty, like you used it up. They do mix really well, but they are permanent. Paint. I'm putting the wrong lids on each other. They are permanent. They are waterproof. They will not move with water, smear, or anything. But these containers I have here, 10 grams will make one container of one 30 ml container of this wax paste. That's how much 10 grams of pigment, mica powder. This is a 2-ounce container, okay? You can see it's full. That's still 10 grams. So it really depends on the container you put it in. There's a little less than 10 grams. It just depends on how full and how much of pigment I got. That's 10 grams. And these actually do not have a scent to them. I didn't smell that first, but they do have a scent to them. I think it's because a little bit of the walnut oil in them have a scent to them. I smelled that earlier. I was like, what is that smell? So yes, I was kind of happy. Next thing, the most expensive thing for you guys right here, the containers right here cost me. These containers here are from China. These are 30 ml containers. They cost me $6.22 for 20 of these. So you can make 20 colors. These 2-ounce containers cost me $8. I'm pretty sure I only got 6 of these. So it just depends on what you want to do. My oil costs me about $15 for a 16-ounce bottle. And my beeswax was a 1 pound of a bag, which was $10. You do not need a pound of beeswax. You really could get less of that. You don't use that much. As I said, the more beeswax you use, the harder it's going to be. The less beeswax you use, and the more oil, the creamier, smoother it's going to be. But that can affect the drying time because you put more oil in it. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're making this. As I said, for the recipe, it's not really, there's no real recipe for it. It's just, this is based off of 10 grams of pigment. Why I did not explain this before, I'll explain it real quick, is I put the 10 grams of pigment in the container, because these are metal and they can be put in the double boil that I used. Then I poured in the oil until they were all mixed and incorporated and there was no loose pigment left. Then I put them in the double boiler and wait for them to heat up. After a while, they change a little bit of a color and heat up. Once they fully heated up, I put in the wax and mixed it in until the wax melted. Once the wax melted, I transferred it out of the double boiler, put it on my table on like a napkin, and I mixed it every once in a while until it fully cooled down. If you do not mix it for a while, it will try to have like a top coat and be kind of hard. That's why I mixed it so nothing really separates during the drying process. That's why some of my pieces look a little weird. It just helps them not to have like a hard shell on the top of it when they cool because of the wax. But I bought 12 pigments, 12 mica powders. I have more than that in my stash, but that's how much I purchased for this project. So I can make 12 colors in different sizes. Which means each one of these based off 12 colors will cost me about $5. Okay? That's how much each one cost me. If you budget the mica powder is the most expensive thing, and it's just really going to dictate your prices. I said this is 10 grams. If you go on eBay or any site that sells mica powder and you get more than 10 grams, let's say you get 50 grams of mica powder and you only use 10 grams for each cup, it's going to make it's going to make 10 grams, it's going to make 30 milliliters. It's going to fill up a 30 milliliter container. If you do that, you can refill this yourself 5 times, which is going to drastically decrease the price. The only thing you might have to do is buy some more oil and maybe buy up some maybe wax occasionally. I don't know. I'm not going to run out of wax anytime soon, but you know, who knows. So that's what happened. Since I did buy something that gave me about 50 grams of pigment, and I will use that multiple times. Where I put that pigment at? Yes. This is 30 grams, about not 50. So this is 30 grams of pigment right here. And I'll link below to where I got this from. Sorry, I'm so loud. I'm like right up on the microphone. I'll link below where I got this from. And this tells me all the colors and everything, which I'm very excited because I bought most of these pigments off of eBay. And they don't tell you the colors, so you kind of have to remember the colors you purchase. And sometimes in the packaging, they look the same. Like, these 2 colors look exactly the same, but one of them is a satin blue and one's satin red. So I bought these, and so I can use these. This gives me 30 grams of pigment. I'm only going to need 10 of these to make one of these containers, which means I can use these multiple times. So I like that. The good thing about this paste, if you for some reason don't like the colors that are offered out there for wax paste, you can make your own. You can make very bright, glittery colors. You can make dull, you can make more vintagey, grungy colors. Whatever you choose, like my gunmetal black is really dark, but it doesn't have much of a sparkle. It's a little bit of a shimmer, but not too much. So if I just wanted to do a little bit, like a little shimmer or something, but really grungy, I can get a brown. I can do other colors that I choose to get. or use. You can use eyeshadow for this, but you want to get loose eyeshadow, and you will need to make sure you get enough eyeshadow. If you're doing this into like, if you don't have any way to measure out 10 grams, you can do this by tablespoons or something. I think I'll put in the description below how many teaspoons, tablespoons, 10 grams is for you guys, if you just wanted to scoop it out and measure it. But I'm telling you, there's no real recipe to this. You just want to make sure you put enough pigment in there that it doesn't really matter how much pigment you use, but the more pigment you use, the more you get of the product wise. Very creamy. It's very fun to play with. I do like these. So I've had a lot of fun with these, and this is my big project I was working on, guys, that I hope you guys are excited to make yourself and play with. I have more pigments to use here. I have like a silver gray I'm excited about. I have royal gold, which I'm really excited because I don't have any gold. I have this one, but it's an iridescent gold and shows best on black. But this color, if you can see it, it's going to show really well on all colors, I hope. So you can see what you have, and if you get the 30ml containers, which you do get more product, or you get 2 ounces, you get a lot. Now, of course, it's gonna take you a while for you to use all this stuff, so having a refill will be handy. If you go through this really quickly, tell me how. But this is very fun to use. It sticks to pretty much a lot of surface. It did stick to my wood, my plaster. It did stick to my resin pieces, just one of them though. I don't know what was wrong with this one though. Maybe it's the formula, because this black stuck perfectly to it after it dried up. As it takes a couple of days to weeks for this to dry. It didn't take longer than a week. It just depends. If I put a lot on there, it took a week to dry. So be careful. Just when you make your projects, just leave them somewhere to dry. If you use oil paint, you can tell this will take a while before it can dry. But during that time, you can mix it and melt it and do some fun things with it. So I hope you guys give this a try. Maybe see what you guys can make with these paints. Of course, this is an oil wax-based paints. I would not recommend using this on just plain paper. All the paper here has been gessoed and has acrylic paint on it, which puts a little plastic layer so it doesn't seep through and oils don't soak into the paper. So I would recommend making sure you do that and don't just put it on regular paper. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it makes you guys go out and do something fun when you make these products or something, and show me what you're making, maybe a video or something. Much love, guys, and I will talk to you guys later. Oh, there's my gold. Oh, I'll show you this. This is my gold I was showing you earlier. See how, like, this is the gold I have, and then see how, like, plastic it looks and grungy. It's not as shiny as I want it to, so I have to get in the light. But that's the point. Love you guys so much, and I hope you guys try this product out and tell me how you like it in the comments below. Much love. Links to everything will be in the description bar below. And get crafty, guys. Bye.